What is up, everybody? I am HoopsandHipHop, and really quick before we get into it, I just want to say I am happy to be back making videos. Last week I took a week off because I just had a ton of stuff going on. You probably noticed I was uploading remixes. That is why I was just super preoccupied. I was moving, and there was just a bunch of other stuff going on, so that's why that was the way it was. But now we are back to making our regular, usual stuff, and what a way to return, because we just barely had a brand new trailer for the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion drop this morning. We only got a Japanese trailer, interestingly enough, but we did get some information on the website as well, and overall we've got a bunch of new information overall. So I am going to be simply going through this trailer. I'm going to be talking about it, giving you guys my general reactions, my impressions, my thoughts, and we're going to have overall just a really interesting discussion about all that is here in this trailer. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. First thing I want to say is that because this is only in Japanese, I'm going to try to use footage from the trailer, but Japanese trailers can kind of get claimed on YouTube a little bit more than the English ones, so I might have to use screenshots. We'll see what happens, but I'll try my best to use the footage. I might have to slow it down though, so full disclosure there. As far as what's in the trailer itself though, it starts off with a Galarian Slowbro. We finally get the full view of it. This Pokemon is officially, we now know, Poison Psychic type, and basically Shelter is obviously bitten on its arm as opposed to its tail, and that's what's giving it the poison type, because it's like reacting with Galarian Slowpoke's spices in its body, according to the website. So that's kind of interesting, but I honestly really love the design. I love the typing. I think that's pretty creative, and I love the design. I think it's better than regular Slowbro, even though it's really not that much different. So overall, I really enjoy that a lot. In the like little sizzle reel before the trailer actually started as well, they showed the slightest little clip of a Dynamax Giratina, almost forgot the name there, right before they went into the main trailer, and I thought that was a really interesting way to kind of I very much felt teased for Diamond and Pearl remakes, because it was on the screen 1 second, gone the next. I thought that was pretty interesting. The other thing that was shown in the trailer that I am more excited for, I feel like, than I was thinking I would be, are the new Pokemon that are coming back that weren't in the trailer before, or weren't in Sword and Shield before. And I think the reason why I'm so excited for it is because it's just going to make the experience of these expansions just that much more fresh. Yes, obviously these are Pokemon we've had before, but we're going to get to experience them in Sword and Shield for the first time. And I think having so many of them in each expansion, to where you've never caught any of these Pokemon before, you've got that much more Pokemon to like fill up your decks with, I think that's actually going to make the gameplay of the expansions that much better. And without getting too much into the National Dex discussion, I think if they had all of these Pokemon in the game to begin with, to where you could catch them all, and then they just simply added the expansion in terms of the story and didn't have any more Pokemon to add on top of that, I don't know that that would have made the expansions as fun, because obviously you would have had more Pokemon in your decks, therefore less new ones to catch. And so I think kind of having those new Pokemon be new Pokemon that are available in the expansion is going to help the expansion in terms of its gameplay. So personally, that's kind of how I feel, and I am excited for that. There were also a number of different gameplay features that were shown off that weren't really explained in the trailer, but they were explained on the website. One of them is a really weird like Cramomatic vacuum looking thing, but apparently it's supposed to be this really like interesting recycling machine, it's called the Chramomatic, according to the website, and it actually has a really interesting use, because you can basically dump various items into it and get items in return, and based on what items you put into it, basically just whatever you have laying around in your bag that you don't need, you can put them in the Chramomatic, and then based on the combinations of items you put in, you have the chance to get rarer items in return. And I think that's a really interesting feature. It gives you an actual use for those items that just kind of sit in your bag and do nothing, and I think that's a really interesting feature to have, so I'm excited about that. The other interesting feature that I'm really excited about is something that is apparently called Max Soup, according to the website. And basically, it's this new soup that you can make with ingredients that you can find on the Isle of Armor that will allow, it says on the website, certain Pokemon or special Pokemon with potential or whatever the case may be, but it allows certain Pokemon to become capable of Gigantamaxing when they might have not been before, which effectively means that you will not have to go out and necessarily hunt the Gigantamax Pokemon if you have a Pokemon on your team, like say, I think this is going to be used for the starters specifically, but if you have a Pokemon that can Gigantamax, but your specific Pokemon cannot Gigantamax, this soup, if you give it to them, will allow them to Gigantamax, which is awesome because that was kind of the main downfall, in my opinion, of Gigantamaxing, is that even though it was really cool, you had to go out and hunt the Gigantamax Pokemon, which in its own way was a cool feature, but it meant that you couldn't just catch a Pokemon that could Gigantamax and Gigantamax it. You had to go hunt out a special one, which kind of sucked for like the main playthrough of a game where you might not necessarily be hunting the Gigantamax Pokemon. So this kind of solves that, and I think that is really, really cool. So that's just another kind of further quality of life feature that I think really makes the game a lot more, it just makes it, I just think it makes the game a lot better, because I think just having that option is really, really cool. We also see the lady that's like cooking the Max Soup. She seems to be like a special important character, so we'll see what she has to do with later on. And then they totally teased us a little later on in the trailer where they showed Clara and Avery, and just as I had predicted, Avery is using a Gigantamax Slowbro, or not Gigantamax, but he's using a Slowbro as what seems to be his signature Pokemon, which I thought would be the case since it's Psychic type, he's a Psychic type trainer, but it did not show Clara's Pokemon that she uses, which definitely tells me it's going to be a new one we haven't seen. I previously theorized that it would be another Galarian form, possibly Galarian Dustox. It did not show what it is, but I think we definitely have confirmation that that is going to be the case, that it's at least going to be a new Pokemon, because they totally teased the crap out of us in that moment, and that was kind of funny. It also seems that we are going to be able to get the other Kanto starters, Bulbasaur and Squirtle, possibly through a gift, like they're going to be gifted to us by that lady that was making the Max Soup from earlier, and that's not necessarily unexpected, but still pretty cool. That's really interesting. They also showed off some stuff about the Crown Tundra in this trailer, which I did not think was going to be the case. I thought it was just going to be Isle of Armor stuff, so that's interesting. And I have got to tell you guys, just in terms of the environments, the the Crown Tundra just looks absolutely beautiful. Like, it looks very, like, almost ethereal is the way I would describe it, because it just has this very just kind of magical combination of, I guess, weather and geography and just all these different things that just make it look like a really fantastical and, like, beautiful place to explore. And I am beyond excited to explore it. The guy that's going to actually help you explore the Crown Tundra is a guy we met in the initial reveal trailer for the expansion, but we never got his name. He's the guy that's got the big orange explorer suit on and just looks like an explorer in general. Well, we finally got his name, and his name is Peony, and apparently he's come to the Crown Tundra with his daughter to investigate legendary Pokemon that seem to be in the area. However, to my knowledge, I don't think we have seen his daughter or who she is at all in any way. So it's going to be very interesting to find out who his daughter may be, and if that's important, and if the fact that she hasn't been revealed is important at all. Definitely gonna have to keep our eye on that. And something that occurred to me while I was watching this trailer is the fact that between his presence here and the fact that he's got a explorer's type of getup on, and the fact that we've got underground dens that we can explore for legendary Pokemon in the Crown Tundra where Peony is also appearing, that very much makes me think of the underground from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like connected in some way to that, if this is another like sort of hint to the Diamond and Pearl remakes, if this is going to kind of cross over to those remakes, just like the new Regis might with Regigigas. I very much think that could be a possibility, so that's another thing we're going to have to keep our eye on. And speaking of the Regis, one thing that I thought was really cool when it was showing off the player encountering the Regis, is that the player was using a Relicanth on their team, which is a Pokemon you have to have in Ruby and Sapphire and the remakes in order to access them. You have to have it in your party. So that's either a really nice nod to that fact, or I'm hoping that it actually means that the Regis are going to be encountered, or you're going to have to go about a special sort of circumstances in order to be able to find them and encounter them, just like in Ruby and Sapphire, and Relicanth is once again a part of that. I'm really hoping that that is the case, because that's what makes the Regis so special. So if they throw in some convoluted, really weird thing that involves having Relicanth in your party once again, I will be beyond ecstatic. I really will. We also got confirmation of the other two Regis in terms of their names and in terms of their typings, the new ones that were revealed for the expansion. The electric looking one is indeed an electric type, and it is known as Regieleki, and then the dragon-ish looking one, there was some debate, is it a dragon, is it dark type, what is it? It is indeed a dragon type, and it is called Regidrago. Both of these are very interesting. It did not show a whole lot more about them other than their names and their typings, but still the fact that we have that official confirmation is really interesting. There was one really interesting thing about Regidrago that was mentioned on the website, where it said that it was created by Regigigas as an attempt to create this ginormous dragon Pokemon from, I guess, like special crystals, but it ran out of those crystals and was only able to complete the head of the Pokemon, which is why Regidrago's arms kind of have the shape of a dragon's head on either side of its arm. And then it goes on to say that the people of the time feared that if this Pokemon was completed, it would just completely destroy everything, and so they sealed it away and left Regidrago as essentially an incomplete Pokemon. And that's a really cool backstory, that Regidrago was supposed to be something else. It was supposed to be a different Pokemon, but ended up incomplete, and the form we have is just the head, essentially. I think that is fantastic backstory, and I might have to look into that a little more later, because that's some really cool stuff. Another thing I wanted to mention about the environments of the Crown Tundra is that there seem to be some broken down buildings in one of the shots that we see, and I very much get like a Breath of the Wild type of vibe, just because of the ruined buildings and the open world and landscapes and stuff. So I'm really interested to hear about what the story there is. We also see the big tree that seems to be really important to this part of the expansion. And another interesting thing that I don't think at least I didn't really consider before, is that we've got the one big tree that is bloomed and it's got the red leaves and everything, but then we have another big tree that's like on top of a mountain in the background behind it, and it seems to be dead and it's frozen and stuff. So I'm thinking that those two are connected, and there's going to be some story plot elements there, so I'm really interested to see and find out what that's all about, because that seems really interesting. And then later on in the trailer, at the tree, we get a really cool shot of the Galarian legendary birds just fighting it out, kind of like how they did in the second Pokemon movie, and it just looks freaking amazing. We also did get confirmation that these are Galarian forms, and we got their typings. Galarian Articuno is Psychic Flying, Galarian Moltres is Dark Flying, and Galarian Zapdos is Fighting Flying, which I personally thought that they would retain their other types as opposed to the flying type, which I would have preferred, so it's slightly disappointing, especially for Galarian Zapdos. It could have been the first fighting electric type Pokemon, especially because it doesn't even look like it can fly at all, so that's kind of weird that they gave it the flying type, but nevertheless, that's what it is, and I am beyond excited for them either way, because they look fantastic. This whole cutscene, if you will, where they are fighting looks really interesting. I'm really excited to find out what's going on there. And then last but not least, the final thing that kind of rounded off the trailer that's new anyway, was a clip of, I guess, what is called the Galarian Star Tournament, that is going to be a part of the Crown Tundra, where you will be able to take place in a multi-battle tournament, so 2-on-2 battles with various characters that you've met throughout the story. So you'll be able to do double battles against like various gym leaders. Leon is involved. It showed a clip of Leon and Raihan facing off against the player character and Hop, so you'll also be able to battle with them as well. And overall, that's kind of just like a nice little extra thing to add in to experience. And I hope that it has some sort of story detail to it, so it gives you a reason to play through it the first time and it's not just purely for the battles. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for, but either way, it's a pretty cool thing overall. One thing I did not mention as we were going through all those new Pokemon is that basically all of these new Pokemon, the Galarian forms, the new Regis, basically every single new Pokemon that was revealed here has a new signature move, and I'm not going to be able to go through every single one of them in detail in this video, so check out the website if you want to know more about that. But I think it's really cool that they're introducing so many new moves in the expansion, specifically for these Pokemon. And that more or less rounds it up for the stuff we learned from this trailer. Finally, I guess I got to include the release date because that's kind of important. The Isle of Armor expansion, which is the first part, that is going to officially come out on June 17th. So only basically 2 weeks away, which is really exciting. I can't believe it's that close. Obviously, I'm going to be covering it in full on the channel, so stay tuned and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more content covering all of that. And if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. Let me know all of your thoughts about this trailer and the new stuff we learned in the comments below. Overall, I'm really excited, and I'm just really excited to see what else is in the expansion that we haven't seen yet, so I am just really looking forward to it. I'll be back on Thursday with a new video as well, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Until the next one, as always, I love you guys very much. Thank you for watching, and I will smell you guys later.